Jason from RIC Flooring. How you doing, Jason?
Pretty good. Yourself, Todd?
Doing well. Really excited to chat today. I know you have a really interesting story on how you got kind of all the way to where you're at today with, an actual retail store. Would love to take a step back and just kind of walk through your story and how you got to where you're at today.
Well, it's basically started off with framing industry, framed houses with builders, some of the best builders in town. And it's basically started when I was, 15 years old, framing houses all the way up to when I joined the military. So I framed houses, got into decks, got into hanging cabinetry, got into trim. So I learned the whole 9 yards from, builders needing more work done and, hey, can you volunteer?
Sure.
And then, so, with that alone, the GC life was kind of crazy at the age of 19, So that's when I officially started my own company. So then I got deployed after I did that for a while. And, I had some time to think when I was, in some of the rougher areas. And when things aren't so bad, things are quiet for a while. So you have time to think what you want to do when you get back home,
Yeah.
400 days to think, basically. So I kind of fell in, try to get into the flooring industry, and turned out that I got into a lumber liquidator position to do all their installs. And turns out that I kind of beat the installer that was there before.
Sure.
And within 2-3 weeks notice, I'm already taking over all the installs for that certain store. So it's really just a shot in the dark from where I was or where I am today. It's just kind of, you don't plan for these things. You just kind of, life takes you to different directions. And
Do you have family in the industry at all?
I was never in the flooring industry.
Okay, it's interesting, right? Because a lot of people come from, their parents were in it. Not many people were
Right.
deployed, and all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I'm going to go into the flooring industry. I'm going to go do installation for, lumber liquidators. Who now, if you were to mention that word in with any of the retail stores, it's like, what? Never.
Yeah.
Don't even mention that word, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of people, big box stores, they have crappy products and they have good products. Crappy products, nobody can beat. And then, we install for, both of them.
Yep.
So we're taking over, Home Depot installation service. So it's just like, I don't think anybody will ever be able to beat a big box store like that right off the bat. It's a single retailer. So it's just, just grab what you can out of that and, benefit from it. So I've benefited from, large margins from lumber liquidators as a partner with them as I'm doing my own thing as well. So there's not a non-compete agreement or anything. So
Yep.
you're just another subcontractor and you're gaining more work.
Yep. So your retail store has now been open for I think 2 or 3 months. Made the plunge.
Oh, yeah.
Made the plunge into that. So you're kind of early on in this journey. Like what? And you mentioned to me this earlier. Like you just dove in, right? You're like, I'm going to learn on the job.
Okay.
I'm going to figure things out. Like how do you? Right. There's a lot of installers that I talk to all the time, and even retailers that are just starting. They're like, how do I open accounts? How do I
Right.
get samples? How do I get website? How do I do anything? Like, where did you begin that process? What was that like, just kind of stumbling your way through?
I mean, honestly, it's just a matter of, for one, it's just, joining the military as a young age, they kind of break you down, it's like how people are getting, stay at home, they're losing their ability to be free, to
Sure.
go do things, so you sit around and you think a lot. I mean, that's all you do when you're at home. You think,
Sure.
what do you want to do? How you're going to do this, So yeah, I had 480 something days to think,
Sure.
what I want to do. And, I'm a young age and yeah, I could GC, but I want something bigger as, for my family and the generation to come, as any other retailer really does in the end, and passes on through the family. So it's just more of really how I jumped into it. I mean,
Yeah. What
it
was like
either
day
a dumb
one?
decision or a smart decision, It's just kind of,
Sure.
hey, you know what? We do their measures, we do their installs, we do their assessments.
Yeah. So
we
you
do
knew
everything.
all of that, right? You knew all of the installation side. So you had half of it accomplished. You knew how to do all the installation,
Right.
but then you have to say, okay, I need a showroom. Like, how did you make a decision on where the showroom should be?
Well, I made the decision on the showroom because, well, where the big box stores are is where you want to be located because that's where people shop. They already did that analytic overview of
Sure.
where the most common traffic is. So
Why
it's
try and
just
reinvent
common
it?
sense to me to be as close as I can to that field.
Yeah.
So we actually, you can also kind of see which regions of your area are booming. Like you can start to see houses are starting to move out into the country area. They want to get away from the city life now. Everybody's all industrial, modern houses, big yards, big houses away from each other.
Yep.
So that's kind of where we're pushed this store was into Marion, which is a growing city. And we have 25,000 cars or so pass by us every day. And we're the only really flooring retailer in Marion. So it's Marion population really loves local business. So if you can nail that market and you're one of the two only in there, people are going to come to your store just because you're that local city, not because you're local in the state, but because you're local in the city itself.
Yeah, I mean, I say that to every retailer, which is, and I think that's just across the whole country with every community, is you can win in a 5 mile radius every single day over a big box store. But I'm sure there's things like, what is one thing you wish you did differently? You dove in, I'm sure you made a ton of mistakes. Is there one big thing that you're like, I wish I could have just redone that if you started over again 2 months ago?
I would say the one thing we would do is find the right marketing team the first time. we opened 2 months ago, but we built this company 2 years ago. So from, all the articles and incorporation and everything and getting websites built, we've had 4 different websites built, 7 different marketing teams. We sued one. It was just ridiculous of the amount of energy it takes to find the right marketing team. That is the biggest struggle of the entire field was marketing.
Yep.
That is the number one thing that will fill a store.
I get that. And I appreciate you guys now being, great customers of ours, but that is hard, right? Because marketing is hard enough, but then also understanding the flooring industry, right? Like that part of it, I think is a lot of agencies and a lot of our customers work with, or used to work with actually before they worked with us. They say, yeah, it wasn't a good experience. And when I talk to them about it, it's like the flooring industry is very unique, right? You need to have an understanding of how that works in order to be successful marketing at all, right?
Right.
So totally understand that.
Honestly, that's what, the moment that Floor Force, I've taken Udemy classes, if anybody knows what Udemy classes are, but it's basically online instructional classes of how to do Google ads, how to do Facebook ads, how to learn anything digital, really.
Yep.
And I took classes upon classes and became Google Ads certified. I know a lot about Google Ads, but not nearly as much as somebody who's been doing it for 20 years. And Floor Force pretty much knocked everybody out of the park on Google Ads. I'm talking like annihilated them because nobody's ever set it up a geofence field in the Google Ads before that I could see. But when I pop it up, maybe you can demonstrate what a geofence looks like on the Google Ads map. But it looks like a water droplet drops in the middle of where you are, and it has each circle gets bigger and targeting, the group, and as they get closer.
Yeah, that's a unique strategy that we use. Basically what happens is like you can use this thing called bid adjustments, right? Which is where you can increase or decrease the bid on certain zip codes or radiuses. So the way we like to look at it is like break up every radius and say, we're going to target 2 miles around your store, 3 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, but we want to pay different prices, right? We'd rather pay 10% more for someone that is a block away searching for flooring than someone 2 miles away. Right? And I think that's a really good strategy we've seen you successful, obviously overlaid with the right keywords and
the website. Traffic started coming almost within a week. We didn't even have a sign up on the door yet. On the, the overhead of the whole store, we're brand new. So it's like, we don't have a sign, but yet we're still getting traffic, and Google has our pinpoint in the wrong spot, and you guys fixed that too. So it's just a lot less stressful now that we're finally getting, the calls and the traffic to the store without even a sign up yet.
Yeah.
That was a kind of a really good thing. So now we have a really big sign, but nobody can really travel right now. So,
the opposite problem.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate those.
The marketing was the biggest factor.
I appreciate those kind words. And I know looking at your store, it's kind of set up pretty unique. I know you have a big TV in the corner and you have kind of small samples. Can you give us a little tour of it?
So the TVs we actually have multiple TVs around.
Nice.
And so those TVs are actually for us to do demonstrations. Everybody's digital. Everybody likes pictures and images and videos. So we're doing time-lapse videos of installers doing different types of floors. One TV will be demonstrating, the deals of the week for, if we can get a vendor to upload or send us those files so we can upload them on our slideshow on the TVs. It's just anything and everything that will kind of help educate the client without them having to ask that one question that might make them feel kind of, there's no such thing as a stupid question, but people feel like it's a stupid question, So if we can help eliminate those before they even get there, that'd be good.
Yeah, it's all about how can you make the consumer experience easier, more seamless, easier for them to just go in. They know nothing, right? Go in from knowing nothing and
Right.
get ready to buy is really, however you can streamline that, you can win.
Right.
So I know you've started to build some of your own software and things in house to help make your life easier. Like, what are some of the things that you're thinking about that when you think about the flooring industry, there's a lot of archaic software processes, everything from
Yeah.
technology to I don't know ways to open accounts or PK me. Like you can hear the whole gamut. But like when you look at the flooring industry, like what do you think the biggest change is going to be in terms of the process and kind of experience and everything?
Honestly, it's just take the entire industry, all of its software, and just throw it in the trash and create new one.
Sure.
I mean, that's honestly what I think needs to happen. It's everything's, you still got a lot of manufacturers that are wanting fax checks. I'm 30. I've never faxed a check in my life until like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was just kind of like, what? I mean, everything's digital now. There's no reason the flooring industry, multi-billion-dollar industry, should be where it is in its archaic, you know, design. I mean, the software needs to catch up. And if it catches up, I think everybody in general could make a lot more sales. But I mean, even the manufacturers, the vendors, the B2B system, it shouldn't be ran off, email systems anymore. It should be ran off, the cloud.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that's cost, it's probably going to cost millions of dollars to do that.
Or tens of millions. Yeah, it's a matter
Yeah,
of investing in the future, though. I mean, I'm with you. It's a matter of investing in the future. I think a lot of things have worked in the past. At some point, we
yeah,
got to take that next step. And I think you're also in an interesting position where I get this question a lot. I'm curious your opinion. And when we talked about this last time we recorded this before the audio broke,
yeah.
you had some really interesting advice. But a big thing in the industry right now is the lack of installers. Right? What can we do as a flooring industry, flooring community, as manufacturers, as retailers to help get more skilled labor into the workforce?
Well, I think it's kind of like what I described to you before in the last video was, the Marines and the Army can go into a high school and they can recruit kids that are not even 18 years age yet. They can recruit them in junior year, 17, 16, 17 years old to say, hey, let's you know, sign you up for the military. So when you graduate, we can ship you away to go do military stuff.
Sure.
If they can convince, 30, 40 students a year in each high school to do that, which probably even more than that, it's no different than why can't a flooring store go set up a table for tradesmen. So I think we just really need to start thinking about the colleges and the high schools, because honestly, the government doesn't really care about trade right now. They just care about, the college. They're not pushing. I don't want to say the government doesn't care, but there's not enough push for the trade world yet.
Yeah, not a
Everybody
priority.
realizes it.
Yep.
So it's more of, we need to push ourselves, set up these booths at the high schools, set up the booths at the colleges, it's kind of just make an outdoor booth anywhere really. And if you say you can make someone 6 figures in a year of training, you're probably going to lock them in,
Sure.
because they're going to go to college for 4 years for a $50,000 salary. So,
And you'll be maybe 200,000 in debt. But
yeah.
yeah. So like, with that information, I mean, are you starting to do something like that? Like, are you starting to build out your installation network so that you can grow your stores? And, how do you look at your installer network? Is that like something that's defensible that you think you can take that around the country and continue to kind of beat the box stores?
Right. So basically, one thing I know anybody and everybody can beat the box stores is do sand and refinish. Big box stores don't do that. If you do sanding and refinish, you're going to win a huge market in your area. So that is something that a lot of flooring retailers are forgetting, that, hey, that used to be the thing for flooring, sand and refinish.
Yeah.
After you install a floor. That needs to come back.
Yep.
Because, pre-engineered floors that's great and all, but they're still never 100%, what it used to be. That's why these floors last for so long.
Sure.
So that's one way to beat the box stores, is have elements that they don't offer. They offer everything but that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one way to win a large market in your area. And the other way is just to, like I said, siphon the installers, make them your own, unionize your area in your store. And if you have those installers, you can kind of gamble with, if I take these away, they can't make as many sales
Sure, that's fair.
because, if you don't have installers, you can't make sales nearly as much. Almost 50% of your sales are going to be hurt because you don't have installers to, install a floor.
How many installers do you have? Like, how big would you consider your installation network to be?
For I was about 36 altogether. I mean, you're 5,600. I mean, that we can get a total, wrap around, get to a hold from Tennessee to, we're not much in the southern states, but Midwest all the way up to, even Washington, we can get up into those areas. So the upper half of the U.S., usually I can get a network of installers pretty easy.
Yep. Yeah, makes sense.
So,
You came from that world, so it
yeah,
makes sense that your network is there.
It's its own group. Everybody loves each other, and we share videos, pictures of floors that we do, and it's everybody really appreciates and take pride in their jobs, and it's just something that nobody else can communicate. You can't go home and, hey, I installed 1,200 square foot of vinyl today, and your wife's gonna be like, well, good job, and pat you on the back.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about it for 10 minutes. No, it's just gonna be like, oh, cool.
Yep.
So
yeah, totally.
Everybody has their own network.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of those online communities pop up, so it's a good time to get as involved as possible. So I want to end on kind of one thing. If you had one word of advice, there's a lot of challenges going on now with people having to stay at home, coronavirus, all of that. What are you doing in a time like this to either stay afloat, take advantage of it? How do you kind of look at the situation? What advice do you have for other people that are going through some challenging times?
For one, apply for the grants.
Yep.
For two, submit an application for your insurance to cover you for interruption. They'll deny it because it's nationwide, but there's a lot of lawsuits going around right now that are actually probably going to refund people. So it may actually go through even if it's denied. So I would just be very proactive on all of these grants and funds coming out, because this thing could last all the way through April or halfway through June. And I'm the one seeing military, battle buddies going out and they haven't come back yet. There's just more going out. So it's not getting any better yet. So definitely that is the hugest thing. I applied for 3 myself for my store and my installation firm. So that's number one thing right now. And then number 2 thing is call different restaurants, call different, banks, all these stores that aren't allowed to have, multiple people in. They can allow crews and essentials to come in to do their floors. So it's a perfect opportunity, with them not being able to open their doors, to sell their flooring or, help them out with a simple remodel or do a mosaic on the backsplash or something. So yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Again, I mentioned this, I think, to someone else, but in politics, they say, like, don't let any crisis go to waste, right? So you do have an opportunity here to say, okay, it's shitty, right? This situation sucks right now, but what can I do? What opportunities is this opening as other doors close? And that's really what I'm trying to push the community to think about.
And then the other thing is if you do get funding from the government, something that could definitely help people bounce back is the website.
Yep.
Have Floor Force build you a website. I'm telling you, Floor Force will build you a website that will kill anybody else's website, because the SEO is strongly, I've looked at it, I've read it, I've looked at the backlinks on it. There's just so much. It's almost a big box store website. There's just so much SEO. It's probably put you at the top within 3 months. And I'm sure, Todd, you probably agree, if there's not a big competitor in the area.
Yeah, no, totally. Listen, I think there's something to be said by us being in business for a long time, but also there's power of community, there's power of multiple sites. So yeah, I appreciate the little pitch there. That's always nice.
I just want I can't wait. I've had so many websites built, and I've even called some of the retailers for the websites, and it's just organic leads are free. It's just
fair.
You're getting free leads, and instead of spending $3,000 a month, you're spending $1,500 a month for leads. Right. So it's just a matter of, can you keep up with the leads in the end?
Yeah, listen, we always say that with a good website, you literally need one customer to come in to pay for a $350 website. Half of one customer comes in, you'll pay for it. So
yeah, and this is a guy that spent $26,000 on websites in the past 2 years. So.
All right, so we're talking to the right guy here. All right, that's Jason. Right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time today.
Hey, thanks, Todd.
All right, take it easy.
Bye.